This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Extortion suspected in St. James murders. Residents of York Bush in St. James are trying to come to terms with the death of two men killed in what is believed to be an extortion attempt on Monday morning. 64-year-old Henry Salmon and a 56-year-old Gilbert Jackson came under heavy gunfire about 8:50 a.m. as they traveled by a truck in the community. The shots were allegedly fired by a man whose earlier attempts to extort money from them was rebuffed. The alleged shooter had a reputation for violence. Member of Parliament for St. James Southern and the State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Homer Davis, visited the scene on Monday.
There are two gentlemen that I know personally. Gilbert is like a family to my family. It's a very dark day for York Bush. This is a community that what you see persons driving, they indicate to them to stop, you demand money. And the gentleman commented that I don't give lazy man my money, and that is what causes their demise. When those words came out of his mouth, then bullet came out of the guns, and that just snuffed out the lives of two well-respected, highly rated community members. But I'm going to make this appeal to the people who know this fellow, to give the support that is required. Because based on my understanding, this is the third murder alleged to have been committed by the same fellow.
Reports are that Jackson, who is a carpenter, hired Salmon to transport kitchen cupboards to a house in Salt Spring. They were attacked in a section of York Bush Road. Shrubs brought the truck in which the men were traveling to a halt. Their wives have been jolted by the news of their death. Me talked to him this morning and then me leave him. He was eating his breakfast, and as me leave, me take a taxi and go out. By the time me reach the school to register my son, me get the phone call that the truck shoot up. Me never know him in it until me get the phone call that him dead in it, said a grief-stricken Erica Jackson. Vinette Salmon, who has been married to Henry for the last 33 years, was no less distraught. My phone keep ringing. I kept asking what happened to Joe, and nobody was telling me. They said I should run come and look, and when I come, this is what I see, she lamented. Other relatives and the neighbors wept openly as the police processed the crime scene. Among them was McCoy Jackson, who said he did not believe when he received a phone call saying his brother had been killed. I just said, let me come down here and come see for true. And I see him so it go, he said. The last time he saw his brother, he added mournfully, was last week Sunday when he installed the cupboards at his house. It's just sad that you have some idlers and some low-minded people who have no ambition. They kill people who they work them honest money, he said. According to MP Davis, the community is now shrouded in fear because of the actions of a few unscrupulous individuals. We cannot allow one or two members of the community to hold a community at ransom. I have spoken to a number of citizens here this morning, and they are all in fear. They want something to be done, and they need it done right now, he said. The police investigation is ongoing. What we have gathered so far is that there seems to be a member of the community who has been creating havoc among the members. We are following some leads, and very shortly we will hold that person accountable, promised Superintendent Aaron Samuels, who is in charge of police operations in St. James. We want members of the community to work with the police. We are hearing that there are members moving around the community with firearms. We want the community to know that we are here to assist. If you see anything that can cause harm or persons who you believe are criminal elements moving within your community, call us, he urged. Elderly man shot dead at home in Westmoreland. An elderly man was shot dead at his home at Shoreline Darling Street in Westmoreland on Monday morning. The deceased man has been identified as 66-year-old Dudley Levy. Reports from the police are that residents heard loud explosions shortly after 1 a.m. and summoned the lawmen. Levy's body was found at 6:30 a.m. with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The Westmoreland police are investigating. Accused scammer to be extradited. A St. James businessman alleged to be the mastermind behind a local lottery scamming group is to be extradited to the United States after he opted not to challenge the request. Anthony Stewart, 38, of Bogue Village, waived his right to an extradition hearing on Monday when he appeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court with his lawyer, Richard Lynch. Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague signed his warrant of committal for his extradition and notified Stewart that he would remain in custody until arrangements are made for him to be taken to the U.S. Stewart is wanted in the North Carolina on mail and wire fraud charge. He was first arrested in August 2013 with his spouse Felicia Lindo by members of the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Task Force in relation to lottery scamming. Police had reportedly seized the papers containing overseas contact information and the US $1,040 and the 10,000 Jamaican dollars during a search of the premises, but both were freed of the charges. Lindo, who is both Jamaican and American, was however arrested again in September 2016 in the U.S. He pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in the Western District of North Carolina. The dual citizen, who had admitted to being part of Jamaican lottery fraud conspiracy that targeted victims in the U.S. from 2011 to 2012, was in February 2017 sentenced to 24 months in prison and 3 years supervised release. She was also ordered to pay $292,900 in restitution. Lindo, as part of her guilty plea, had confessed to collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars from victims before forwarding portions of the amount to Jamaica. She had further acknowledged that the victims of the scheme were called and informed that they had won money in a sweepstakes or lottery and were instructed to send the money for fees or other expenses in order to release their purported lottery winnings. Cop to face a trial for allegedly lying to Indicom. A police corporal accused of lying to the Independent Commission of Investigations about a 2020 shooting in St. Catherine is to stand the trial in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on November 7. A man's house was said to have been damaged during the shooting incident. Jason Bailey, who was assigned at the area headquarters, will be tried on a charge of willfully making a false statement to the commissioner. Another lawman, District Constable Vaughn Sutherland, who was similarly charged, had appeared in court in June and was given a November 7 trial date. Consequently, when Bailey made his first appearance in court on Monday, his attorney-at-law John Jacobs indicated that his client was charged with Sutherland and asked that the same trial date be fixed, and the prosecutor complied. The two law enforcers were charged by Indicom after they reportedly gave Indicom statements that attempted to mislead the commission. They were among a team of officers dispatched in Homestead, Spanish Town, on a targeted special operation on March 31. During the operation, it is alleged that both men fired their weapons while in search of men in the community and damaged the man's house. According to Indicom, the accused men had breached the Jamaica Constabulary Force use of force and firearms policy, as there was no lawful justification or absolute necessity for applying force or discharging their weapons during the planned operation. But both men maintain that they did not discharge their weapons on the day of the operation. However, ballistics evidence conducted on the recovered spent casings reportedly showed that the weapons that had been assigned to them were discharged. Attorney-at-law Orville Morgan is representing Sutherland. Man allegedly threatens to kill cop at court. A 21-year-old man was remanded last Tuesday after allegedly threatening to kill a police officer while he was in the holding area at the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. Rodin Samuels had been taken to court by the police to pay a fine in relation to charges of disorderly conduct, assaulting a police officer, and indecent language. It is alleged that after being placed in the holding area, Samuels attempted to hand a cell phone to another man in a cell in front of him. A police officer reportedly attempted to take the cell phone, and Samuels subsequently became boisterous and started to use threatening words. "P-Wall, when me buck you a road, me go kill you. You not even know a murderer you are ramp with," the cop quoted Samuels as saying. Samuels was subsequently charged with uttering a threat to kill. Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague questioned Samuels about the alleged death threat. "You call the police officer a P. Did you say those words?" she asked. He answered, "No, me never said that. Me head no 200. Me said to the officer, 'Officer, you can't go tell my mother to get my medication please to my head.' So him now come in a my cell and start thump me in a my chest and start give me beer hard lick. So him just see you and start thump you? The judge asked incredulously. Samuel's allegation was subsequently denied by the police officer. Turning her attention again to Samuel's, Cole Montague asked, "How could you have done that?" adding, "You're not going home tonight, you know." Samuels then started pleading with the judge to not remand him. However, he was further remanded until the judge said his mother is able to appear in court to speak about his supposed mental illness and the medications he is on. "I'm your judicial mother now, but I want the burnt mother to come and tell me what's happening with your medical," Cole Montague said. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.